Hello and welcome to the show. Today marks the 200th FailRace episode, which is to me quite incredible. That's getting on 4 years now of this series. It is quite possibly the most popular, consistently series that I've made, and I'm glad you guys are still enjoying it. I still love looking through the clips and seeing what people have submitted. It's great fun seeing what weird and wonderful things go on in the world of racing games, and I hope to many more episodes. For this particular one, to mark the special occasion, I've gone back through the episodes to find my very favourite of clips. There are an awful lot to go through. I may well have missed out to your personal favourite one, but you know, this is a selection, the decent selection as well that I've collated of all of my personal best bits. Anyway, we start on Far Cry 4. That's Sohagen trying to fix up a truck, not really going particularly to plan, trying to kind of more welding air at the back of it. So it goes around the front to try and do some more repair work. Game doesn't really want to get repairing the truck, and well, the handbrake manages to fail. I think the player kind of glitched it, just nudged the truck, which then proceeds to roll down the hill and off the edge of a cliff. I'm sure there's a Fenton joke in there somewhere, and well, that's definitely not repaired. Also managed to lose a hang glider in all of that, so well done. Need for Speed Shift 2 with a car pretending to be a breakdancer. I say pretending to be a breakdancer. No, actually is a very good breakdancer. I mean, it's not a very good car. It's lost 3 wheels. Almost all of the body panels, there goes the 4th wheel. Pretty much all of the body bits that could fall off it have fallen off it, are dented, are cracked. It's, yeah, not a great car anymore, but it does win many, many bonus style points. It could well be spinning to this day, we just don't know. How do you fancy next on GTA 5 with a glorious chain reaction explosion? Now, when these work, they are incredibly entertaining. So initially, the Landstalker running over a bike explodes the Landstalker, explodes the bike, explodes the car. Now the trucks have head-butted each other. One's exploded, one's on fire. The rest of the AI are kind of all getting a little bit confused. Someone manages to run out into the middle of the road. I don't know why you ran from relative safety to the middle of the road, get run over, exploded, then run over again. Definitely very dead now. More cars continue to pile on into the fray. Now, the most impressive thing about this particular chain reaction explosion is that it's not cars constantly exploding. There's actually a surprisingly large gap in between vehicles getting exploded. One guy climbs out of his truck, gets run over. He's still alive, by the way. He's still alive. Sort of gets up, doesn't really quite know what's going on. The FailRace Police Department make an arrival, and then he's very much not alive anymore. Police car explodes. Another truck's exploded, I think, somewhere. There's a flaming door. I don't know where it came from. It could have come from anywhere. Still more vehicles exploding. It's still the, chain reaction continues. The police have now turned up without managing to explode their car, starting to shoot Trevor. And again, okay, the player started this one, but it was only one car and one bike and sort of car that started all of that. It kept going. It didn't really want to stop exploding. Another truck's gone up. More cars are ploughing into the mix and exploding. The truck managers get fired off the road. It's complete carnage. It is complete carnage, and a really rather impressive chain reaction right there. Wasn't the only one with the impressive chain reactions. Razors on GTA 5 with the great Los Santos brawl that went on. I had no idea what started. The clip doesn't show what started this rather large fight. I can imagine some shenanigans have gone on with the level crossing. There's an exploded taco truck. Again, probably a train involved. There's an exploded panto as well. Now, all of these, again, the player's not doing anything at this point here. This is just AI on AI fighting for whatever reason. There's already been 2 or 3 murders currently going on. Eventually, the AIs win. Whatever they were trying to do, they've eventually won. The paramedics have turned up to try and make sure that everyone's dead. I think the paramedics on GTA 5 just sort of walk around and poke a dead body and that's it. Cars are still trying desperately to get across the level crossing. A truck's eventually managed to get itself clear but doesn't really know what's going on. Paramedics are still just checking to see what's happened. The truck's still revert. I mean, you are clear to go forward, truck, but you're not really. Panto's tried to push his way through a taco van. Funnily enough, didn't really work out so well for the Panto. Now the Sabres got involved, the Land Rover's also looking, and here comes the train, because of course it wouldn't be a big old brawl without the train making an arrival. The Land Rover gets out of the way just in time. The Panto doesn't. The Panto explodes. Panto explodes big time in the midst of all of that. Train goes through as everything on the other side now starts going up, and thus begins the chain reaction explosion over here. So not only did we have the great brawl, we've now started having everything exploded, and as cars kind of ploughed into it, they pushed vehicles across the train line to try and blow up the cars the other side. The player wisely trying to run away from that big old explosion sector. Again, as everything on the other side's gone up in flames, say with turbos exploded, something's trying to climb over the cars, don't quite know how that's got up there. Player did not throw a single explosive to start that. Now that was all a train, and it's just everything the other side of the train line is now going up. More cars are exploding this side. It's still... it's madness. Complete madness. They're still exploding over the other side. More cars are ploughing into this one as everything goes up. Again, motorways, you can see some pretty damn impressive explosion chains, but don't normally get as much traffic managing to explode in this tiny area. Another Land Rover's got exploding. The door manages to go underneath the player and somehow not set Franklin on fire, which is quite impressive. Unsafe velocities on Forza 3, of course. New York, one of my all-time favourite circuits. This is what happens when you get things wrong at New York. Well, you smack a tyre bundle, normally puts the car out. What doesn't normally happen is the nose dance. I mean, maybe not quite as impressive breakdance as the Need for Speed Shift 2 car, however, can't say I see this all that often. Yeah, many broken cars at New York, absolutely. Many broken cars at New York, but you don't normally get that pirouette going on. A very nicely controlled pirouette from the Mustang Mine. The crowd, well, the two people standing near it are loving it, but, yeah, you gotta be careful. As I always say, New York is one of the most dangerous tracks ever made in a racing game, and that shows just what can go wrong. Steel guns on rigs of rods with a crane. Now the crane has a problem. It wants to do some donuts. Now cranes are not normally designed for doing donuts. They're not normally particularly good with the donuts. However, this particular one has been practicing, and it's surprisingly apt. In fact, it's quite fun. That's scary speed from donuts. Cranes are not supposed to do that. Cranes are absolutely not supposed to be able to go that fast in a circle, and I say that controlled. It is fairly controlled, and then it's all out of shape. And there we have that. It was good while it lasted until it completely lost control. That's, yeah, not quite how you're supposed to crane, but well done nevertheless. Ace on Assetto Corsa with wiggly Toyotas. It is still, I mean, I couldn't possibly pick a favourite clip from all of these. However, this one is a clip that's sort of stuck in my mind as one of those that was absolutely going to be included in this. No idea what caused these GT86s or BRZs or combination of to just not be able to go in a straight line around the Nürburgring. It does get worse for them as well. Through this section, the gold car gets spun as everyone's wiggling. They come over the crest. They're in two lines, wiggling away. Yeah, that's well done, guys. Well done, guys, indeed. Nerdy Nordic on driver San Francisco. Now, making chaos with the traffic was always good fun on this game. So, like, I spent an awful lot of time playing around with causing as big a crashes as you could. You don't normally have the truck defying all of the physics, and the Signet gets absolutely battered in that. Challenger manages to ghost its way through a truck. But, yeah, you know, that's an unusual ending to the traffic chaos right there. An impressive ending, though, nevertheless. Some decent flights from the truck. And now, this was actually from me. This was all testing a fairly early King of the Hill arena. Now, we've had many car launches on this. Of course, there's, you know, a whole game mode launch cars off of the turbines. This, though, is still the furthest ever recorded, certainly by me. Now, we are by the wind, you know, we're on the wind farm. And the car is going for it. We are clearing the quarry. We are clearing the quarry and heading out towards the ocean. The best thing of all is, despite the car being all sorts of out of shape, I actually managed to land it perfectly, and it's off to the water. The car doesn't even drown. We make it to the ocean from the King of the Hill arena. Yeah, we've had some pretty damn big, you know, fires out of the arena before, but That is still my personal best. That is still the longest distance. Red Glisco on Forza Horizon 2. I think this was in a filming session. We're trying to clear a KA out of the way. We're trying to get the vehicles out of the car park, and so the Camaro is managing to push the car all the way across. And it is, you know, well cleared, well out of the way. As you head back to line up with everybody else, the KA returns and batters the Camaro into the wall. Yes, the KA has the last laugh in all of that, and is apparently going to be stuck there whether we liked it or not. Muscle versus Tudor on Just Cause 3. This is another one, a candidate for my all-time favourite clip. Minding your own business, just driving around in this small classic car when sudden upside-down plane and tank will appear out of nowhere, and a few trees with them. Just sudden appearing vehicles. Now, that corner is notorious for trains having problems. That is true. Normally player initiated. This time, absolutely nothing to do with the player. The presumption is that the plane and tank of some description, or whatever it's called, fell off the back of a train while going around that corner as the tank eventually bops its way into the wall. But there's no other debris. Normally when trains derail around there, the whole thing comes off. The whole lot will fall over, will explode, or fall over somewhere along the line. But there is absolutely no sign of a train anywhere. I just love the sudden upside-down plane. It's such a FailRace thing, sudden upside-down planes. A Drex on Metal Gear Solid 5, sneaking around, you know, minding his own business, doing the sneakies, when all of a sudden a truck appears cheating. That's not quite how a truck drives, you sneaky bugger. I mean, it was effective at the end of the day because they were looking the right way to spot, but that's not... No, that's not how things are supposed to work, but impressive nevertheless. Matt Ponch on Just Cause 3 with the first ever appearance of Magic Goat. There have been a few of these along the way with wildlife getting stuck on the bonnets of cars. Although they normally stay still, they're not normally running. Good old Magic Goat. It is... It's one sort of hood ornament, that's for sure. I quite like Magic Goat. I very much like Magic Goat. Dat Mudkip on a stock car Extreme. Now, I'm not sure if this is a player car or an AI car. Something goes wrong with this track car heading up towards the next corner. Can't quite get it to. I think it has a tyre problem. Either way, hits the wall, comes back across, and all sorts of manner of craziness unfolds behind it. From this angle, you know, I mean, it's mayhem, but doesn't look that bad. So as the car hits the wall, pings down in front of everyone, everybody's kind of trying to check up to avoid the crash, which makes a big old crash, and then synchronized mini brigade appear. 4 minis in almost perfect synchronicity backwards into the wall is not something you see very often, I'm not going to lie. So yeah, you see the car come across the pack, some minis get sort of spun in that group as they're all trying to slow down. It's just the perfect slide and backwards into the wall. A couple of the minis managing to lose their wheels, a couple getting away with it, well, I mean, with lesser damage. I love a good synchronized crash, and this is one of the most perfect synchronized... Look at them all go, trying to slow down to avoid, I presume, the big pile-up that was going on up ahead. One of the mini that lost its wheel very nearly got the wheel reattached as well in a weird roundabout way. Went backwards into the wall, the wheel comes off, trying to sort of vaguely slow it down, and the fairly well-behaved tyre makes its way to said mini. Sparky on Automa Blister with the racing trucks not quite able to take a tight turn, and then we're going to go for a big old spin for many of them as they try and figure out how to put the power down again, having come from grass onto tarmac. And now they've started spinning, they don't really know how to stop spinning. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trucks just doing donuts. One's even doing donuts. I can understand the truck's doing donuts on the grass, but one truck's just doing donuts in the middle of the road for no real reason. It's just there, minding his own business, having some fun, I guess. I don't know. The Angry K9 up next on Race 07 with one of the most impressive AI roll trains that we have ever seen. I've never got the roll train to work fully, every single player roll over, and while this isn't an entire grid of cars roll over, it's damn close to it. The 850R's in all sorts of peril around one particular corner, and a huge number of there, 25 cars in the race. I'm not quite sure how many go over, but it's got to be in the 20s, as this is kind of on board looking back, as everybody, just everything falls over at this crest. It is, again, another lovely synchronized crash. They fall over, they spin their way through the gravel traps into the wall. I think that was the player car there, bopping into a few, getting through. There's another one rolling out of control. I don't know how the secondary part of those rolls will go for some of those cars. It's just so many Volvos rolled and out of that particular race. Again, very, very impressive. Simon Racer on Mafia with perhaps the largest collection of broken cars we have ever seen. We had many AI graveyards on the various Forza Horizons, AI cars kind of going into a field or an area and getting stuck. But this is the most impressive AI graveyard of them all. It starts with just a few cars going off this, I presume, quite tight hairpin on a road, and it just continues to grow. And amazingly, the car's not despawning here as more and more vehicles just plough into this mess. There's a truck in the middle of all of that. I mean, if it was GTA 5, that would be a continual big explosion pit. There's another car that's going to join in, more cars are joining in. I mean, this is the aftermath of it, as AI cars are still continuing to go around that corner up there and still continuing to get into trouble. There's another one joins the mess. I mean, the frame rate of the game is not exactly enjoying this, let's be honest. Still they plough more cars into this mess. I think it is the largest collection, one that's actually made their way through it. Well done to you, good sir, with the green car. The largest collection of broken AI vehicles I think we've ever seen. I mean, the actual road itself, on the road, there's a big old traffic jam going on. I mean, I presume from people watching, just, stopped to watch the mayhem. Oh no, never mind, there's a crash at the front of it as well. Apparently that corner is the most dangerous corner in existence. I mean, look at that. As I said, it is the largest collection of broken AI cars we have seen. There's another one, just to finish it off as well, spinning across on its roof. We go from the largest collection of broken cars to the most expensive collection, with Tom C. Lee on a Assetto Corsa with many 250 GTOs getting into all sorts of trouble, and that's a big bundle and an awful expense. So I don't know whether it's a player car or an AI car, loses control at the Nürburgring, spinning wildly out of control, pings off the wall, comes across the track. Now everyone else is trying to check up and avoid it. The problem is cars further back can't. So you get the big concertina effect, and as the 250s go under one another, they manage to start a great wave of metal and broken, expensive cars that flips and twists its way. The most famous of all the FailRace clips from Black and Red 81, NASCAR 2003. It's got shared many, many places because of just the sheer madness of it all. Starts off as a fairly normal crash until everything just explodes. Don't know what caused it. Presume some sort of mod track, mod cars, everything gets unhappy, and you don't even know where to look in this particular crash. There are cars doing things cars should not be doing. Just, what's going on there? There are cars spinning around. That's that's terrifying. And then we're going to go on the nose and go for many spins. I mean, that's spinning so fast as well. I mean, the frame rate can barely keep up with it. Yeah, the crash, initial impact is a fairly, number 2 loses control, spins across in front of the pack, as everything just goes to space. As it continues to spin along on their nose. That one's shot off to the infield. I mean, the speeds involved with some of these cars is just ridiculous. Is just ridiculous. Again, this would be contender very much so for my all-time favourite of clips. Every single way you look here, there is a car rolling, spinning, flipping on its nose, doing about 1,000,000 miles an hour. As some of them, I mean, that poor poor white and yellow car got away with it fairly lightly further back in the field. Different places in the field, different cars got sent up at different speeds. This particular one here, not quite rotating as fast as you see something just ping its way across. I think that was the purple car from earlier, just pinged its way across. This is a fairly tame amount of spinning, or it was initially. And then we're going to start ramping it up, going faster and faster, and still going faster until you'd have puked everywhere. You probably died of the G-force, let's be honest. I love that it's managed to find its way back onto the circuit and is continuing along. It's actually now moving along the circuit, I guess, towards the pit lane, probably. Someone else has got back going again. NASCAR 2003 has made for some truly spectacular, hilarious silliness with some of the crashes that have gone on, but this is by far and away the most spectacular explosion of vehicles that ever took place. As I think it's the 88, it's making its way to the pit lane, spinning on its nose. It's now slightly on the grass, but yeah. Where do you look? Where do you look in a crash like that? Because there's a lot of silliness went on just about everywhere. More synchronicity shenanigans, Drex on Automobilista with some Formula 1 cars heading down towards the first corner, where I think the curb upsets the vehicles on the inside, and and everybody's round. There's 5 or 6 cars go around in perfect synchro with a fair bit of donutting trying to get going again. Yeah, the AI sometimes struggling to get the cars started, but again, you can't go wrong with a lovely synchronized ballet of spinning cars, and this is, again, very, very good one, as everyone gets big oversteer through that. And I wonder how many more would have gone, perhaps, if they weren't checking up for the already crashing cars. And then this next one, I had it saved on my computer, actually, for ages, is another right contender. It's a fairly straightforward clip, but there's just something about this one that the more you watch it, the funnier it gets. It's around a sumo on GTA 5, and, you know, the boat is probably one of the best arenas. It's not particularly large, but it is a fantastic, fantastic arena. As the purple car is out, the Panto goes to pop the Rhapsody and very much loses the fight. I don't know what it is about this particular clip, but it's just brilliant. I just love the Panto makes absolutely no difference to the Rhapsody. It is just immediately deposited down the containers and very much out. Onto GTA 5 with Assassin 55X and messing around with the military, as you do. You know, you play around in the military base, causing chaos, got the car a little bit stuck in this kind of area, recovering a fellow army jeep, spins away to try and get out, when a plane manages to put the missile pods through the window of the jeep, flip the jeep, and then explode on the hangar, all while said jeep is okay. I mean, it's ridiculous. I've never seen that sort of a takeoff, and luck to have survived it as the plane rolls over, explodes. The jeep's not even on fire either from that explosion. Well done indeed. Dilly on a set of Corsa with some incredibly, incredibly lucky AI cars, and some not quite so lucky. So, again, Nürburgring, very fast, high speed, dangerous, dangerous corner up here. An Alpha gets things very, very wrong. In fact, a few Alphas get things very wrong. One nails a BMW, one Mercedes is the luckiest car in the world, as Alphas go either side of it at great speed. But we saw what happened to that BMW. When things go wrong here, yeah, it's going to hurt. It's going to be a very, very big crash. And the M3 got absolutely battered by the first of the Alphas as it couldn't get it slowed down. It's bouncing across the grass, trying to get control, and there goes the M3. The blue Mercedes gets his car spun across in front of it and behind it. I mean, there's only a few centimetres in that as well for the car that went behind it, so luckiest Mercedes. El Warrior on Grand Prix 4 with a terrifying experience for a Port Marshal as he manages to push the Ferrari through the floor and then has to run away. Again, another clip I absolutely love. I guess something in the floor gets a little bit confused. The Ferrari goes through it, pings back up, everything's gone. That Marshal is having a bad day. Toyota Holic on Project Cars 2. Now, we've seen many cars catch lifts from other cars being carried around circuits and so on, but this Cadillac is perhaps the laziest of them all, with a little bit of help from, I think it was an Audi R8, pushing the ATS-V onto the front of the NSX. It is the longest and most controlled carry, I think, we have seen. As well, I mean, the NSX is trying its best to get up this hill. Quite difficult to see and or steer, I imagine, with a Cadillac on your face. But that's, you know, it's made almost 2 corners with the car stuck on the... Admittedly, has to kind of, you know, clonk the wall to make 2 corners, but... It's a seriously impressive... Eventually, the Cadillac slips off the back, but that's a seriously impressive carry from the car. And Dat Mudkip on Automobilista with potentially some of the largest number of rolls that we have ever seen from a clip, as Indy cars have all sorts of trouble. Again, these high-speed ovals, good for causing many, many carnage. I mean, there's a player kind of just driving through a rain of debris from a lot of the cars. Say a lot of the cars. Not as many vehicles got broken in this as you might expect when things go wrong at this sort of speed. They tend to go pretty spectacularly wrong through the middle. But it's the white and green car that just doesn't stop rolling as it catches the fence. Okay, maybe not quite as many rolls as we saw from the Nascars, but that's... Well, they were also spins, I guess, rather than rolls. So, yeah, don't go below the yellow line, I think, is a generally good bit of advice on all of that. This is sort of on board the car that will kind of part of the cause of it all. You can see the white and green car still spiralling out of control in the background. It's actually on board the car that went for all of the rolls. So yeah, cars too low down, lose the back end, slide up in front, and then it's a wheelie into the fence, and then the rolls begin. They pick up speed so violently in the mid part that it is pretty pretty damn impressive from the car as it ends up landing on its roof. There we have it. There we have it. A look at some of my personal favourite clips throughout the FailRace series. I hope you've enjoyed this selection. It was actually really good fun going back through and looking at the many silly shenanigans that we have had on racing games. And I thank all of you who have submitted clips to this series. Long may it continue. Of course, you can continue to submit clips. There'll be a link in the description of this video to our forums. At the very top of the page is the FailRace clip submission section. All of the rules, etc., and how to submit them is in there. Also, good news, Forza Horizon 4 clips are now showing up on the Xbox DVR sites that we use. So for a long time they were not appearing. Basically, that's an easiest way for us to get clips on the most part. And now Forza Horizon 4 clips are properly working, or they should be properly working most of the time, so it's much easier to submit them. Here's to another 200 episodes, hopefully, of vehicle-based weirdness, silliness, the occasional space program, many roles, and a few good old chain explosions as well. They don't go amiss. That is going to be it from me, though. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.